Picture putting on your headphones. You hit play, and the entire world around you blurs into absolute stillness. Think about the one song that still wrecks you. Not the track you claim to like now to sound refined, but the one that hits something underneath your ribs the exact second that first note lands. If you do the math on exactly how old you were when that track came out, there is a very high probability you were somewhere right around 14. We carry around this quiet arrogance that the stuff we grew up on was simply better, that before everything got loud and overproduced, our generation had actual ears. Your deeply held musical taste is a biological illusion, an architectural timestamp locked in by a developing brain years before you had any real say in the matter. This chart maps out a study by researcher Kelly Jakubowski. Her team gathered 470 adults spanning an age from 18 to 82 and played them over 100 pop songs released between 1950 and 2015 to measure their emotional familiarity. Across every demographic, the data refused to spread out evenly. Instead, the emotional response spikes violently for the music released during the exact years each participant was a teenager. Psychologists call this the reminiscence bump. It is a window roughly from age 10 to 30 where our most vivid memories cluster together. And for music, it peaks with almost funny precision right at age 14. You see this bump with the books people read and the movies that marked them, but with audio, the focus is remarkably intense. Ask someone about their favorite track from that age, and the memory is never vague. They recall the exact bus window they were leaning against, the cheap earbuds with one dead side, the specific marker used to label a burned CD. The song itself acts as a container, playing back your own past, regardless of its objective musical quality. During adolescence, the reward center deep inside your brain is running hotter than it ever will again. It acts like a hyperactive sponge, instantly soaking in everything it encounters without a fully developed filter. Drop music into that system, and it triggers a massive flood of dopamine. When a song builds and you get actual chills on your arms, that is your reward circuitry firing at maximum capacity. Memory operates on a quiet rule. High pleasure acts like a neon highlighter. Experiences that feel deeply rewarding are stamped down harder and pulled back up more easily later. Your teenage brain is also living through an intense stretch of neural plasticity. It is actively deciding which synaptic connections to keep and which ones to let wither away. The tracks you played on loop during these years physically carved the neurological grooves that your later musical tastes would be forced to run alone. Those early songs feel permanent to who you are because they literally helped build the physical brain that is storing them. Beyond biology, psychologists track a shift during these years called social reorientation. You stop being your parents' kid and start turning outward, toward your peers. Suddenly, the opinions of your friends hold weight, and being accepted feels like a matter of survival. To announce who you are to this new world, you reach for music as a flag. Finding a band nobody else knew felt like uncovering a secret identity. You defended specific genres like they were moral positions, using sound to tell everyone which tribe you belonged to. When your brain locked those melodies in permanent storage, it was saving the exact blueprint of the person you were deciding to become. Hearing those chords today hands you back a completely intact version of your past self, preserved in the music. In 2025, a research center in Finland ran a massive global study on this phenomenon, tracking nearly 2,000 people across 84 countries. They found that the bump is a universal human program. It happens everywhere, though the timing shifts slightly based on how identity forms, peaking around 16 for men and closer to 19 for women. The data also uncovered something researchers call the cascading reminiscence bump. Teenagers frequently form intense, genuine attachments to music recorded decades before they were even born. The bump isn't a sealed box around your teenage years. It has doors. Nostalgia gets inherited through the speakers of older siblings and the ambient soundtrack your parents carried into your childhood. There is also a small crack in the data. A handful of tracks carry so much cultural gravity, they transcend the generational bump entirely, resonating with people who have zero connection to the era. While the vast majority of your musical taste is a heavily guarded personal timestamp, occasionally a song escapes its era and belongs to everyone. This leaves a glaring question. Why does a sequence of vibrations in the air hit us so much harder than looking at a random photograph of ourselves from middle school? Music functions remarkably similarly to a scent. It bypasses the language centers of your brain entirely, allowing a past moment to roar back immediately and without words. But this diagram illustrates what audio can do that scent cannot. Music unfolds over time. It has a rhythmic structure that walks you chronologically through the entire shape of an event. A diary merely reports to you what happened on a given Tuesday. A song acts as a time machine that forces the moment to happen again. The forever playlist you defend so fiercely is a perfectly drawn portrait of you, a map of your identity drafted in the only ink your teenage brain entirely trusted. The next time that specific track comes on and you feel that sudden ache in your chest, try to catch what is actually happening. That is your own mind handing back the perfectly preserved fragments of who you used to be. You loved this music because it provided the soundtrack to the exact moment you were turning into yourself. Go dig up your 14-year-old anthem and give it a listen. Drop the name of the track in the comments below, and hit subscribe for more deep dives into the psychology of why you are the way you are. Thanks for watching.